conservatives need to start realizing that the left is anti-Christianity.
Hi, former Republican hype girl here myself. I just want to let you know that conservatives already think that the left is anti-Christianity. I was taught that narrative my entire life. I believed that Democrats and anyone on the left was against God and against Christianity, and that I would get persecuted when I would stand up for my faith. But I was very outspoken for Jesus my entire life. In public schools, I had Jesus signs on my locker. I did prayer meetings. No one said anything to me. But interestingly enough, the only time I've ever started receiving hate and persecution was when I started being more outspoken about my faith, but not in a Republican way. When I started calling out Trumpism and nationalism, you would not believe the type of hate that I've received from Christians, not big bad atheists, Christian conservatives. When I got out of the conservative groupthink, I did realize that the left is anti-hate and anti-bigotry, and if that's what your Christianity is about, I'd be more concerned about yourself.
You know, I seldom say this, but I'm on the side of the hype girl. I feel gross. It's the worst phrase. But she's right. Right-wingers have always said that the left is against Christianity. And it has always been the dumbest argument ever. You know why? Because the left is just as annoying as Jesus. They're always like, oh, why can't we just do the right thing? Why can't we help those in need? It's disgusting. The left is like Jesus in matters of justice. Jesus said, blessed are the merciful. Forgive them, Father, they know not what they do. Similarly, the left's always advocating for mercy. It's either sentencing reform, rehabilitation over incarceration. It's total Jesus crap. Ugh, gag me. In terms of wealth, the left is just like Jesus. Jesus said, quote, you cannot serve both God and wealth, a book written by a guy named Matthew. He also had this, it's easier for a camel to get through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. Jesus basically advocated for Elizabeth Warren's wealth tax. And then a bunch of weird stuff, like legalizing illicit substances. The left wants to legalize like weed and other drugs. Pretty sure that would fly with Jesus, whose blood is literally wine. And you think Jesus is not into hallucinogenics? Have you been to a church?
And Jesus Christ comes again, and every eye will see him when he comes again.
It's a bunch of priests like placing crackers on people's tongues like it's a tab of acid. Most of church is just like getting up and standing and sitting and rocking and praying. It's like very much like people on meth. And when you think about it, the right is the group that is totally not like Jesus. Jesus said, to one who strikes you on the cheek, offer the other also. You think right-wingers do that? No, right-wingers are like, you touch my cheek? Forget the gun. Get the bullet gun. Let's use bullets on them. Forget hitting a cheek. Like, if you ask them politely to put like a mask on part of their cheek, they'll be like, I am going to shoot you.
I want you to wear a mask. No, I'm not wearing a mask.
I have a question, and don't fight me on this, because I know how you conservatives like to tussle. Nowhere in that video did I mention my political affiliation, yet you automatically assumed that because I was advocating for human rights, that I was not a Trump supporter. Why is that? Why is that? I think that says more about you than it does about me, babe. I think it does.
So this TikToker stumbled on something that I think many of us have seen. Republicans basically identify people as being radical leftists if they suggest that people deserve basic human rights. If you suggest that people get access to food, water, housing, healthcare, or we just recognize people for who they are if they're gay or trans, or if we suggest that people shouldn't face discrimination based on race or gender. If you say any of those things, Republicans will immediately lash out at you and assume that you're some sort of radical leftists. They do this because they know fundamentally that they stand against those things. Now, of course, we're gonna have a bunch of Republicans in the comments immediately saying, oh, we're against racism, we support human rights, but the truth is that they don't. You see, they only use that as a defense. A perfect example in this front is free speech. If you look at the question of free speech, Republicans will say they love free speech. They will say they love free speech, and they will cry and cry about being banned from Facebook, YouTube, and other platforms for spreading medical misinformation and for saying pretty explicitly racist and violent stuff. And they'll be upset about them being banned from those platforms. That is when they'll run around crying free speech. Now, why do they do that? These right-wingers say free speech because they know that free speech as a general concept is widely popular, so it's a way for them to take their extreme ideas and try and make it seem like it's normal. It's also how they try to bully platforms platforms into giving them a foot in the door in order for them to spread fascism. Because the ultimate reality is, when they say they support all of these things, it's really just a matter of not wanting to be called out explicitly on these things. They say that they support free speech because they don't want to get banned from YouTube. But if these people running YouTube, they would ban everybody on the left immediately. They would ban even liberals and moderates and centrists. They would ban basically anybody that isn't as fascist as they are. It's pretty clear that these right-wingers are against protests. Many of them have publicly expressed desires to run over protesters, and right-wing governors around the country have put in place a bunch of restrictions on protesting in general. So these people are not in favor of free speech, but they say that they are. And moments like this are really telling because this TikToker is saying something about human rights, leading to a bunch of people flooding in their comments saying, "Oh, Trump 2020, oh, you're a lib," is very emblematic of how these people think. The truth of the matter is, when these people think about rights, when Republicans think about rights, they think about rights that they deserve at the expense of everybody else. Just think about the pandemic. They think that they deserve the right to go to Chili's and not wear a mask. But that comes at the expense of basically every other person around them. Not only does it come at the expense of the waiters and waitresses that they are undoubtedly under tipping, but also anybody might get exposed to coronavirus because of them.